Remember that stress doesn't come from what's going on in your life. Stress comes from your thoughts about what's going on in your life. Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Ieva Bereisaite. I am a manifestation and mindset coach, and on this channel you learn about mindset, manifestation, personal development, spirituality, and so much more. And today we're going to be talking about things that you can do when you are feeling sad. And I'm gonna literally give you a bunch of ideas of things that you can do. And it's going to be an in-depth video. And without further ado, let's jump straight into it. So it's normal to feel obviously sad. Everyone goes through a sad phase and it's completely normal. The only thing what has to be taken into consideration and what is important when someone is going through a sad phase, ask yourself, am I going to need help with this? And I think in a way we intuitively know if we need help with something or if we can get through the sadness alone. Okay? So is it just something that you're sad about because you failed an exam? Or something that really upset you? Where is the sadness coming from? Okay? Is it something that can be fixed, or is it coming from literally feeling depressed and emotionally withdrawn and numb? And if it's that kind of sadness, if it's really deep rooted, seek help. That's the most responsible and best thing that you can do. Seek help with counseling, seek help with therapy. So the first really thing that I can tell you that's gonna help is to understand what kind of sadness is it. Can I get through this by myself, or is it something really deep that you feel that it goes deep? And when that's the case, seek help. If it is something if something happened that really just made you upset and sad, another tip that I can give you is to meditate or pray with the feeling of sadness, okay? Because the feeling of sadness is a negative vibration, and a vibration has an effect on our emotions. That's why we feel sad. And so in order to work through the emotions that we are feeling, in order to work through the negative emotions that we're feeling, we have to look at them. Look at them. Don't ignore them. Don't do things like toxic positivity and just say, oh, it's going to go away. The best thing that you can do is to really address the sadness that you're feeling or address the negative emotion that you're feeling. That's going to give you more clarity. So just pray. If you're a religious person, pray on that sadness, or meditate on that sadness. See where you feel it in your body. And if you need to cry, then cry, because crying is releasing of negativity. Okay? So work through that. Don't ignore it. Look at it and take time for yourself to work through it as best as you can. Also, we sometimes get so caught up with our feelings that we sometimes think it's much worse than it actually is. Okay? So this is actually really important. Asking yourself, is it as bad as I think it is? Is it as bad as it really is? And what this does is it puts things back into perspective and it stops the overthinking process, because when we're sad, we will tend to overthink, right? And that almost always spirals out of control, and we think that things are worse than they actually are, okay? So don't get caught up in your mind and actually look at what has happened. Is it as bad as you feel it is? Asking yourself that question will also put things into perspective. And question or tip number 3 that you can ask yourself is, will this matter later on in my life? Okay. For example, if you're upset because of something that happened now, or a failure, or something didn't go your way and you're feeling upset about it, ask yourself, will this be important in 5 years? And if the answer is no, then let it go and move on. If you failed an exam, you can retake it. You will find another solution if you look for it. There is no problem that exists without a solution. There are multiple solutions to a problem. If there was no solution to a problem, it would not be a problem. It wouldn't exist. There is always a solution, because there is always a plus and a minus. There's always the positive and the negative. There's always the black and white. There's always a problem and a solution. That's the law of polarity, right? There's always the masculine, the feminine, the good and the bad. There's always an opposite exists to everything, okay, in some way, shape, or form. And every problem has a solution, or even multiple solutions. So let's start focusing on the solutions, okay? And these are a bunch of starting points to solve the problem. Another important question that we should ask ourselves, and we don't have to do all of these tips because there's going to be 12, and that's a lot. However, if some things that I say really align with you, do those things, okay? So tip number 4 is asking yourself, can I change the situation that makes me feel sad? Okay, what can I do to change this situation? Can I fix it? Can I try to fix it? Can I work harder? If you, for example, tried something and you failed, well, the next logical thing to do would be to try again, if it's something that you can try again, okay? And think about how you can try again. You can still take time, of course, to work through the sadness, because those are emotions, okay? But picking yourself back up and trying again and staying positive and understanding that we just learn from our failures, okay? Our failures do not define us. We learn through them. We have to work through them in order to succeed. Okay, so asking yourself, what can I do to fix this? And seeing what the next potential step is. Tip number 5 would be to talk to someone about this, or to journal about what has happened that has made you feel sad. Not many people nowadays keep a diary, but a diary is really good to journal out your thoughts that sometimes drive us crazy. Okay, let's be honest with ourselves. A lot of people nowadays overthink, and try to be overly productive, okay? Which ends up being a never-ending race. But it's very important to talk to someone about how we are feeling, okay? And just to let it out. And a great way to let it out, if we can't talk to someone about it because there's not really someone that we trust or someone that is a good listener, journal out. And what journaling basically is getting a notebook and writing all of the fears, all of the thoughts, everything that's going on in your mind, venting, okay? And it's very therapeutic and it's very helpful. And I do it a lot, especially when I see okay, there's too many things going on in my mind that are actually making me feel sad and I need a place to vent them. Journaling can really help you vent with negative emotions or talking to someone about it. Again, tip number 6 is something that we've mentioned already, but it's very important. It is crucial to let the negativity and the sadness out. Let it out, okay? If we don't do that, it will build up and it will show itself later on in some shape or form, okay? Fake positivity is toxic. If you don't feel good, I don't believe in faking until you make it. I really don't. I believe we have to work through our shadows and the things that keep us down or the things that we're fearful and sad about. Work through them. Let's work through them. And then naturally, we will be much happier. And the things that we can work through or the negative things that happen in our lives that cast a shadow upon our happiness, there are struggles that we have to work through in order to become a better version of ourselves. Things don't just happen. That's what I believe. Things happen for a reason. And if we do have a struggle, we have the power to get through it. We might not know exactly how, but if we have the courage to face it, we will be rewarded. Tip number 7 is to remember that sadness is a phase. Okay, if you guys have ever heard of the law of attraction, right? You probably have if you're checking out this video. The law of attraction is one of many, many, many hundreds of universal laws, right? And one of the universal laws is the law of rhythm. And I really like to remember this universal law because it explains how everything is a phase. Just like the phases in our seasons, like winter, spring, summer, autumn, we have those types of phases in our lives as well. Sometimes things are going great, sometimes they're not going great, sometimes they're going okay, and sometimes they're just whatever. You know, it's a natural phase in our lives, and we have to go through these phases in order to grow. And when we are in a sad phase, we don't fake positivity, like I said. For example, if it's winter, we're not going to say, oh, it's summer. You know, we're not going to be fooling ourselves, and it's not going to become summer. You know, we work through the winters and then the summer comes, the spring comes, the summer comes. And it's really the same with humans. That's what I truly believe, and with our minds as well. And when a hard phase does hit us, or when a hard time hits us, let's remember that it's nothing permanent. It's a phase, and some phases are longer. Sometimes winter takes up a month or two longer, or it's colder for longer, okay? But at some point, the good stuff does come, okay? And so take the time for yourself to work through it as best as you can. Never ignore your emotions because it's harmful. It's harmful. If we ignore our sadness and if we listen to someone who says, oh, that's not that bad, but we feel bad about it, then their opinion doesn't matter because they're not us. Okay? And if we feel sad, we work through it with courage and faith, okay? Tip or idea number 8 that you can do is to look at the problem that you're having from a third person perspective. Sometimes it's really hard because sadness is a very strong emotion and it feels like it's in us, you know. Through these emotions, our bodies react. We look sad, you know, and other negative things attract after a longer period of time. But if we look at the problem or the sadness from a third person perspective or from a bird's eye view, let's ask ourselves, well, what's the next logical step? Or is this really that much of a problem? Or is it in my mind? And what can I do about it? And this is a great way in solving sadness, because at the end of the day, sadness results from something going wrong, maybe from a problem that has arisen, or you feel like it's a problem, okay? And a great way to solve a problem is to look at it from a bird's eye view and from a third person perspective, okay? Like, what would you tell someone you don't know who had this problem? If you met someone who had this problem, what would you tell them? What would your advice be? Give yourself that advice, because a lot of the time our emotions get in the way and we cannot logically make the best decisions, okay? Because our emotions are in the way and there's too much sadness and we feel too depressed or upset. So asking yourself, well, what advice would I give someone else about the situation is definitely something that can help you get over the problem and the sadness faster. Guys, if you've come this far and haven't subscribed yet, then please do that right now to get more videos like this and to be notified whenever I post them. Make sure you hit the bell button as well to be notified, or else you won't know when I upload the next amazing YouTube video. So make sure you subscribe and hit the bell button. Tip or idea number 9 of what you can do is to be grateful for what we have now. We are gifted with so many things that other people are not gifted with, okay? If you're healthy, if you can watch this, if you can breathe, if you have friends or family, if you have a roof over your head, if you have water, if you have food, if you have the things that we have, let's start being grateful for those things, okay? Gratitude and love are the highest forms of vibration, right? Everything else that is good comes from these two things, and being grateful will help you so much. Even in really hard times when it looks like there's no way out, or something is really bad, or you're really upset, be grateful for what you have, okay? You will at some time, at some point, stop being that sad because you focus on the good instead of the bad. Of course, gratitude has to be a daily practice in order to it to really manifest more and more and more into your life, okay? And so gratitude is something that can always be done. It's super important. And that grateful feeling that you then have after listing the things that you're grateful for and reading them out, those are so worth gold. That feeling of gratitude is so pure and so divine. It can literally energetically heal you. Idea or tip number 10 is to ask yourself, well, what actually makes me feel happy? What makes me feel happy? And think about that and do that, especially if you're sad. What's something that makes you happy? What is it? Go and do that. For me, I love going out to eat, especially like in the evening with friends and stuff like that. I really enjoy doing that. That makes me happy. That's what I would do if I had like a bad day, right? Something else would be to go for a walk at the lake or by the water. That's again something I love doing. gets my vibe up straight away because it's out in nature, and nature has a really good positive energy, right? So that kind of like rubs off and I automatically feel happier, right? And ask yourself, what do I like doing? What makes me feel happy? And if that's playing with your pet, listening to some nice music, reading a book, presenting yourself better, working out, what makes you feel happy? And if it's the smallest of things, do that. Do that. It will help you overcome that sadness, okay? Do those things that you feel attracted to doing, especially if they make you feel happy. Because the thing is, guys, sadness, it's like a slide downwards. It really is. It goes super fast. If we're sad, it'll be super easy to be sadder and sadder and sadder and sadder and then depressed, okay? But getting away from that is like literally a step and a step and a step, okay? It's super easy to dwell on the bad stuff. It's super easy. That's why so many people do it. But it takes courage and work to live a happier life, to decide to be happy, even though stuff is going on that doesn't always work out or it doesn't always make you feel happy. Happiness is a choice. It really is. And sadness, in a way, is a choice as well. So it's in your hands what you decide to do and what you decide upon. But to get out of a negative state, be active in some way, day by day, little by little, okay? Some more tips that I have up my sleeve are tip 11, focus on the positive that can happen instead and repeat that in your head. Okay? And depending on where you are in your life, this can be a challenge at the start. But consistently repeating good things about yourself. For example, I am healing. Every day I am becoming happier. I am working through my sadness and I'm proud of myself. These types of things, they will help you. And if you do have negative thoughts, catch them and repeat the opposite, It's all in our minds at the end of the day. So, we cannot wait for bad stuff or sad stuff to not happen anymore in order for us to be happy. Literally. And I think that's a really, really important perspective. We can't influence everything that happens for sure. So let's do our best to live our best lives. And when you feel like you need help, seek help. If you feel like I can get through this, I'll try and get through this alone, then take the action and do it. Because if we don't take action, nothing's gonna happen. Nothing's gonna happen. And I don't believe that time heals everything. I think action heals everything in a way, So just sitting there and waiting for it to pass, yeah, it can help a little bit, but taking action in order to feel better is what's actually going to shift everything. Tip number 12 would be to do positive affirmations. Of course, you guys know how much I love affirmations, and I think they can really, really, really help. That's why I recommend doing affirmations daily, positive affirmations. There are a ton on YouTube. I have some, I'll link them up here. have a look at them, do them, listen to them, okay? Listen to them. It's so easy to listen, just to listen, you know, and do that. That will make you feel better, okay? If you're struggling with your mindset, in whether that is self-love, if you feel like my confidence level is really low, I need to work on my self-love, then there are limiting beliefs or negative beliefs that are causing those problems. If you want to find out more about this and work through your core limiting beliefs, get in touch with me. We can do one-on-one coaching. I will help you work through your limiting beliefs. I will help you be more confident, love yourself more. Okay, that's the mindset work I do. That's part of it. If you're interested in learning about manifestation and manifesting something amazing into your life, get in touch with me. I'll help you achieve that. Okay, that's the work I do. And if you feel like you just want to reach out, do that. I'd love to hear from you. And again, if you're interested in personal development and you want to work on your mindset, I have a great offer for you that starts on the 10th of October. It is the Zoom group coaching. We are going to be talking about 4 different topics for 4 weeks. There's going to be a topic a week. It's going to be over an hour long, the session, and every single Sunday at 6 p.m. Berlin time for 4 weeks, we are going to be discussing a topic. The first week, we're going to be talking about boundaries. The second week, about self-love, self-worth, self-acceptance. The third week, we're going to be talking about emotional control and emotional intelligence. And the fourth week, we're going to be talking about intuition and how we can tap into our intuition. And if you're interested in learning about these topics, reach out to me and via Instagram or Facebook, or just get in touch with me. I'd love to have you there. I'd love for you to learn about these topics because they're very life-changing and they're very, very important. They are really important for our personal development. Thank you so much for watching and see you next time, guys. I really hope you enjoyed the video and comment below what tip you like the most and if this video helped you. I really liked making it for you guys, and make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Bye.